जयो राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। कुंज विहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा बनचारी। यमुना तीरा बनचारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। जयो राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे। जयो जगन्नाथा जगन्नाथा बलदेवा जयो सुभद्रा जयो गौरनिताय 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 जयो गौरनिताय प्रभुपाद 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 जयो जयो प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama shloke Bhaktir bhavati naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today's discussion of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We are reading from Canto 8, Chapter 16, titled as The Payovrata Process of Worship. We are reading from verse number 20. Upatishthasva purusham Bhagavantam Janardanam Sarvabhuta Guhavasam Vasudevam Jagadgurum. Upatishthasva purusham Bhagavantam Janardanam Sarvabhuta Guhavasam Vasudevam Jagadgurum. Prabhuji's. Upatishthasva purusham Bhagavantam Janardanam Sarvabhuta Guhavasam Vasudevam Jagadgurum. Upatisthasva Purusham Bhagavantam Janardanam Sarvabhuta Guhavasam Vasudevam Jagadgurum. Matajis. Upatisthasva Purusham Bhagavantam Janardhanam Sarvabhuta Guhavasam Vasudevam Jagadgurum. Upatisthasva Purusham Bhagavantam Janardhanam Sarvabhuta Guhavasam Vasudevam Jagadgurum. Upatisthasva. Just try to worship Purusham, the Supreme Person, Bhagavantam, the personality of Godhead, Janardhanam, who can kill all the enemies, Sarvabhuta Guhavasam, living within the core of the heart of everyone, Vasudevam, Vasudeva, Krishna, who is all-pervading and is the son of Vasudeva, Jagadgurum, the spiritual master and the teacher of the whole world. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Aditi, engage in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of everything, who can subdue everyone's enemies and who sits within everyone's heart. Only that Supreme Person, Krishna or Vasudeva, can bestow all auspicious benedictions upon everyone, for he is the spiritual master of the universe. Purport. With these words, Kashyapa Muni tried to pacify his wife. Aditi made her appeal to her material husband. Of course, that is nice, but actually a material relative cannot do anything good for anyone. If anything good can be done, it is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Therefore, Kashyapa Muni advised his wife Aditi to begin worshipping Lord Vasudeva, who is situated in everyone's heart. He is the friend of everyone and is known as Janardana because he can kill all enemies. There are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance, and above material nature, transcendental to material nature, is another existence which is called Shuddha Sattva. In the material world, the mode of goodness is considered the best. But because of material contamination, even the mode of goodness is sometimes overpowered by the modes of passion and ignorance. But when one transcends the competition between these modes and engages himself in devotional service, he rises above the three modes of material nature. In that transcendental position, one is situated in pure consciousness. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabdhitam. Bhagavatam 4.3.23. Above material nature is the position called Vasudeva, or freedom from material contamination. Only in that position can one perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Thus, the Vasudeva condition fulfills a spiritual necessity. I'll read that line again. Thus, the Vasudeva condition fulfills a spiritual necessity. Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. When one realizes Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes most exalted. Paramatma, Vasudeva, is situated in everyone's heart as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and who worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe Arjuna tashtisthati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. O Arjuna, 18.61. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam jnatva mam shantim ricchati. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. 5.29. Whenever one is perplexed, let him take shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Krishna, who will give the devotee intelligence to help him surpass all difficulties and return home back to Godhead. Kashyapa Muni advised his wife to seek shelter at the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Krishna, so that all her problems would be very easily solved. Thus, Kashyapa Muni was an ideal spiritual master. He was not so foolish that he would present himself as an exalted personality as good as God. He was actually a bona fide guru, because he advised his wife to seek shelter at the lotus feet of Vasudeva. One who trains his subordinate or disciple to worship Vasudeva is the truly bona fide spiritual master. The word Jagat Gurum is very important in this regard. Kashyapa Muni did not falsely declare himself to be Jagat Guru, although he actually was Jagat Guru because he advocated the cause of Vasudeva. Actually, Vasudeva is Jagat Guru, as clearly stated here. Vasudevam Jagat Gurum. One who teaches the instructions of Vasudeva, Bhagavad Gita, is as good as Vasudevam Jagat Gurum. But when one who does not teach this instruction as it is, declares himself Jagat Guru, he simply cheats the public. Krishna is Jagat Guru, and one who teaches the instruction of Krishna as it is on behalf of Krishna may be accepted as Jagat Guru. One who manufactures his own theories cannot be accepted. He becomes Jagat Guru falsely. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishna Vamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yam pravrajantam anupetam apeta krityam. Anatosmi. Hare Krishna. So, we are reading from which book? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Actually, it's our divine fortune that we are even bestowed the mercy to be able to read from this glorious literature. The Skanda Purana actually says that Śrīmad Bhāgavatasyatha Śrīmad Bhagavatas Sada Swarupam Ekam Evasti Satchidananda Lakshanam. This Bhagavata, Śrīmad Bhagavatasya Atha Śrīmad Bhagavatas Sada Swarupam. This Bhagavatam is actually Bhagavatas Swarupam. It is the Swarupa of Krishna. It is directly, it gives us the Pratyaksha Avagamam Susukham Dharmyam Susukham. This actually gives us direct perception of Krishna, Skanda Purana says. In the Vishnu Khanda 643. It says, it is Śrīmad Bhagavata Sada Swarupam Ekam Evasti Satchidananda Lakshanam. This Bhagavatam has the Lakshana of Krishna directly. Again, Padma Purana says, Śrīmad Bhagavatakyo Yam Pratyaksha Krishna Evahi. If we want to perceive Krishna Pratyaksha, if you want to see and hear Krishna, we have to read and see Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. That is why you will see many places, many times in India, they worship Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Actually, even before we read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, if you see in some sampradayas, in the Vaishnava sampradaya, they will actually do the arti before doing Bhagavat Katha. They will do the arti and then they will take the arti and then do it. Because this is Śrīmad Bhāgavatakyo Yam Pratyaksha Krishna Evahi. This is Pratyaksha Krishna. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam itself says this. What is that verse where Bhāgavatam says Krishna, Bhāgavatam is none other than Krishna? Which verse is that? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam also says, which is very interesting because the first canto of Bhāgavatam, that verse is printed in the first page of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Krishne swadhamopagate dharman bhagavataniha kalau nashtadrisham esha purana arka adhunoditaha. When Krishna wound up his pastimes, when the Supreme Lord unmanifested from this material world, because Krishna is everywhere right here, but he gets manifest sometimes and sometimes he gets unmanifested. So when Krishna unmanifested himself through some Leela, then immediately there was another sun that arose, and that was Purana Arka. Arka means the sun. Adunoditaha, it arose. What? This Bhagavata. Krishne swadhamopagate dharma jnanadhi bhisaha. Then, if Krishna has wound up his pastimes, where do dharma and jnana, the religiosity and knowledge, take shelter of? Dharma jnanadhi bhisaha kalau nashtadrishamesha. In this Kali Yuga, Purana, this Bhagavatam has appeared. Again, the same is confirmed by Padma Purana, which says, Pado yadiyo pratamadvitiyo tritiya turyo katidau yaduru nabhestata panchama eva sashta bhujantaram dor yugalam tathanyo Kanthastu rajan navama yadiyo mukhara vindam dashamam prafullam ekadasho yaschalata pattam shiropi yadvadasha eva bhati namami devam karuna nidhanam Tamalavarnam Suhitavataram Apara Samsara Samudra Setum Bhajamahe Bhagavata Swarupam. This is how Padma Purana worships Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What is that? Padau yadiyo pratamadvitiyo. Padau yadiyo pratamadvitiyo. The first and the second cantos of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are the lotus feet of Krishna. Padau yadiyo pratamadvitiyo. The Prathama and Dvitiya skanda of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are Padau of Sri Krishna. That is the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. And then Tritiya turyau kaditau yaduru. Uru means the thighs of the Lord. Tritiyau turyau. Turya means the fourth. The third and the fourth are the thighs of the Supreme Lord. Nabhes tatha panchama eva shashto. Nabhi is the navel. Is the fifth canto, the navel. And the sixth is the chest of the Lord. Shashtaha is the chest. Bhujantaram dor yugalam tathanyo. The two shoulders of the Lord is the seventh and the eighth. So we are right now studying which canto? The eighth. So it is the left and the right shoulder. We are studying the right shoulder of the Lord. Now, Kanthastu rajan navamayadiyo. Kantha means the throat or the neck. Kantha, that is the ninth canto, is the neck of the Lord. Mukharavindam dashamam prapullam. The blissful face of the Lord is the 10th canto of the Lord. Mukharavindam. Aravindam means it is blossomed like a lotus flower. Ekadashayaslalata. The 11th canto is the forehead of the Lord. And the 12th canto is Shiras. Shiropiyadvadasha eva bhati. The head of the Lord is the 12th canto. The 12th canto. And then Shukadeva Goswami actually in the Padma Purana prays, Namami Devam Karuna Nidhanam. Oh my dear Lord, you are so merciful. You have appeared again in Karuna, as your merciful incarnation, which is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Tamala Varnam Suhitavataram. You appear as the Tamala Varna. What is Tamala Varna? Blackish, bluish in complexion. You have appeared as Krishna, but now you have appeared as this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Apara samsara samudra setum. This samsara is a very, very difficult place to survive and cross over. But this apara samsara samudra, you are the setu, you are the bridge by which we can cross this material ocean. Bhajamahe Bhagavata Swarupam. Actually, you have appeared as the Bhagavata Swarupam. This Bhagavatam is the Swarupa of the Lord, actually. Right now, we are taking darshana of the Lord through the ears. So therefore, we are very fortunate to take. So he says, Namami Devam Karunanidhanam. So we pay obeisances to the Śrīmad Bhāgavata before even we start discussing the glorious verses of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Now, in this canto, what is coming up very interestingly? What do you think is the main theme of this canto? Or at least till what we have studied so far? Anyone? What do you think is the main theme coming up? If you have observed the first 16 chapters, we are in the 16th chapter now. What is very apparent? You know what happened in the first section of this canto, right? The churning of the milk ocean, and then the demons and devatas were fighting, and the Lord comes as Ajita, churns the milk ocean, and gives the nectar. And after all of that, Mohini Murti comes, gives the nectar to the devatas. There was a war, the devatas won. And then there was a listing of all the manus. And then what has happened now? Bali is again won. Bali has won over and taken over the kingdom completely. He's actually driven over the devatas. So, if you see, one defining factor of this material world is change. There is always sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. And again, it's very subjective. It is Aditi's sorrow right now, but Bali Maharaj's happiness going on. So it's someone's sorrow is always someone's happiness. For example, when we had COVID 4 years ago, was someone happy during the COVID? Who was happy? Huh? The pharmaceutical company. There was someone else also who was happy. Huh? The virus itself. Is it not? Because it's also a living entity. So it was also happy spreading itself and creating many families in many places of the world and say, let's multiply. So someone's happiness is someone's sorrow. And here right now in this canto, Bali Maharaj has won because he's done Vishwajita Yagna, and now Aditi's predicament in the 16th chapter is coming out. And right now, Kashyapa Muni has come back and is counseling Aditi about why you are worried. So what has happened, Aditi has complained in verse number 16. If we recollect what happened in verse number 16, she says, the demons, our formidably powerful enemies, have taken away our opulence, our beauty, our fame, and even our residence. Indeed, we have now been exiled. We are drowning in an ocean of trouble. That's what she presents to Kashyapa Muni. And then Kashyapa answers. Shukadeva Goswami says, when Kashyapa Muni was thus requested by Aditi, he slightly smiled. Actually, Bali Maharaj, the descendants of Bali, and Aditi's children who are Devatas, both are children of Kashyapa. Is it not? But Aditi's children are Adityas, who are the Devatas. She is worried that my children have been driven out. So that's why Kashyapa is smiling. Why is he smiling? Why does he smile? Kas iham ahas mayan iva. So he smiles. Why does he smile? He said, how powerful is the illusory energy of Lord Vishnu by which the entire world is bound by affection for children. Because Kashyapa Muni is able to see something that Aditi is not able to see or perceive. Because Kashyapa is able to see it, therefore he is smiling. Oh, poor woman. Look, she is actually in the strong grip of affection for children. Shukadeva Goswami spoke about very similar verse in the second canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in the beginning chapter. What was that? Deha patya kalatradeshu atma sainyeshvasatsvapi tesham pramatto nidhanam pasyanapina pashyati. Shukadeva Goswami says, Deha apatya kalatra adeshu. Kalatra means wife. Deha apatya. Apatya means children. Deha means body, apatya means children, kalatra means wife, and adishu, the relatives. Atma sainyeshvasatsvapi. Atma sainya means what? Soldiers of the body. If you see the whole world, it's running behind these soldiers because I have me, my children, my wife, my community, my country, my being, human beings, my planet. This my, the center of this is my. Atma sainyeshvasatsvapi. It is asat. It is all temporary, yet the whole world seems to be running on this. And tesham pramatto nidhanam. Actually, everybody knows it's temporary. Pashyan, they are seeing it as temporary. Pashyan apina pashyati. Right now, Aditi is a very great saint, actually. Although being a very great saint and the wife of Kashyapa, she is not able to perceive the inner workings of the illusory energy of the Lord, actually. So that is why she is bewildered, and that's why Kashyapa Muni is saying this. In this verse, in the verse number 18, he says, Sneha Baddham idam jagat. Sneha Baddham. See, this affection towards Atma Sainya. Atma Sainya means my own soldiers, my children, my relatives, my grandchildren. This affection is what binds us, and then it leads to a gross misunderstanding that something wrong has happened to me or something right has happened to someone. This concept of misunderstanding is the problem. Now we'll come to today's verse. In today's verse, Kashyapa Muni is now further prescribing something to Aditi. What is he saying? He's saying, Upatishthasva Purusham. So the solution to the misunderstanding that Aditi has. What is that? Upatishthasva. Upatishthasva. Upari. Upatishthasva means situate yourself in a higher self. Upa means this word up in English comes from the Sanskritam word upa. That's why we say Upanishad, Upavasa. All this upa comes from upa means higher. and that's the same word in English, up, but the Scottish pronounce it properly. They say oop. They don't say up. The Scottish people pronounce it nicely, say oop. Oop, that upar, upatishta, means situate yourself in a higher self. Upatishta means situate yourself. Upatishtasva purusham. What do you mean by situate yourself in the higher self? See, generally, when we say pray to God, we look up. Is it not? It's not that God is up. It's not that heaven is up. It is just that elevate yourself to a higher consciousness, higher and lower. That's what it means. It doesn't mean God is up. God is everywhere. In fact, God is here, God is here, God is here as well, in all 10 directions. So up means higher. Upatishthasva purusham. Situate yourself in the purusha, Kashyapa Muni is saying. And then he says, Bhagavantam Janardhanam. Situate yourself and start worshipping the Supreme Lord, who is Janardhanam. This word Janardhana also is a very interesting word. Jana, what is Jana? Jana means people. Generally, majority of the people in this world is asuras. That's why you always see asuras are always large in number. They believe in multiplying too much. Have you seen some population to say we will increase in population and then finally rule over the whole world? So they have this concept of multiplying too much, and then I will have more population, then I can vote in a democratic country, and then our government will come to power. And then we can do whatever we want to do. This is Asuric mentality. Generally the Asuras are large in number and the Devatas are always small in number when it comes to number. So therefore Jana means generally the masses and the masses mostly are Asuras. And Ardhana means one who vanquishes. So Janardhana, Krishna's name is Janardhana. It is the 126th name in the Vishnu Sahasranamam. Janardhana means one who vanquishes the people. Which people? The Asuric people. So therefore, Kashyapa Muni is giving a code word to Aditi. You start worshipping, situate yourself, upatishthasva purusham, situate yourself in the Purusha, and worship the Bhagavanta, who is also known as Janardhana. Why? Because he is the ultimate destructor of your enemies, whom you think are the enemies. Who is the enemy now for Aditi? The children of Diti. The children of Diti, who is Bali Maharaj and the clan of Bali Maharaj. And then Kashyapa Muni says, Sarva Bhuta Guhavasam. So these two are the pivotal points that is the point of meditation for us in this verse. Sarva Bhuta Guhavasam. Bhuta means, this word Bhuta also is a very interesting word. Bhuta has many meanings. Bhuta means the Supreme Lord. He is Mahad Bhuta. Bhuta means the 5 elements, Pancha Bhuta. Bhuta means the living entities, which is Sarva Bhuta. Bhuta means the living entities. Bhuta also means ghosts. So Bhuta has a very interesting connotation in Sanskritam. But here, Kashyapa Muni is saying, Sarva Bhuta Guha. Guha means the innermost chambers. Vasam, one who resides in everyone's heart. This Janardhanam is Vasudevam Jagadgurum. So he is asking Aditi to worship that Vasudevam. Why? We will discuss that now. This word Kashyapa again is a very interesting word. Kashyapa in Sanskritam, in Sanskrit's etymology, words have etymology in Sanskrit. Kashyapa means one who sees. In short, one who sees. Even the eyes, what do you mean by eyes in English? What do you mean by eyes? Eyes? There's no meaning for eyes in one sense, because English is in one sense a stolen language. It steals from French and Latin and other languages. Some of the words of English have Latin roots and etymology behind them, but many that they don't have. It's an interesting word in Sanskritam. Again, for eyes there are many shabdas, but there's one shabda. What is that for eyes? Chakshuhu. Chakshurun om ajnana. Chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namah vise. Chakshuhu. You know what is the etymology of Chakshuhu? Chakshuhu means that which helps you to perceive things as it is. That is what Chakshuhu means. That which can actually perceive as it is. That is what Chakshuhu means. So therefore Kashyapa, the meaning of Kashyapa means one who sees as it is. That's what Kashyapa means. Why? If you reverse Kashyapa, it becomes Pashyaka. Kashyapa becomes Pashyaka. Pashya means to see. Pashyaka means one who sees very clearly. So therefore, Kashyapa Pashyaka iti Kashyapa. Therefore he is Kashyapa. Kashyapa means one who sees very clearly as it is. What do you mean seeing clearly as it is in this context? Why does it become important to say, to see as it is? Accept the situation as it is. Okay. Go further. What do you mean by as it is? What do you mean by situation as it is? Huh? What is reality? Good. We are getting there. What is reality? What is reality? Is this not reality what we are seeing around us? What is reality? That is the point of discussion today. Because that is exactly what Kashyapa, because Kashyapa is a very elevated sage. Because what Kashyapa is seeing, we can't perceive it with our limited, conditioned brain and mind. So that is why Kashyapa is saying, Yat sarvam paripashyati iti saukshmyat. The etymology of Kashyapa or Pashyaka is Yat sarvam paripashyati iti saukshmyat. What does it mean? One who sees everything as it is, even the subtlest, most reality as it is. For example, when you are seeing things around you, are you seeing things as it is, or are you seeing things what your eyes is showing? For example, our eyes is limited, is it not? We cannot see beyond a certain point of inference. We have to take a microscope and see certain things, isn't it? We cannot see dust particles, we cannot see atoms, we cannot see what is inside an atom. We need a microscope to see. We have limited vision. But does it mean Kashyapa's eyes are like microscope? He can see atoms? No, he goes one level further. What does it mean? We have to come to observe this material world and spirit with the eyes of Kashyapa. What does it mean? We will continue to discuss. See, if you observe us as humans, we were born. How were we born? Initially, when we entered the mother's womb, we were the size of a pea. We were just the size of a pea. And then when we came out, how big were we? Probably that much. A foot long. Is it not? Just a foot long. And then, after nourishing, our body has grown. Is it not? The body has grown after nourishment. But, you see, somehow or the other, we know that every particle in our body has changed as time has passed. Is it not? But we are able to see ourselves in the mirror. I remember seeing myself when I was a 10-year-old. I remember myself seeing myself as a 20-year-old, and then a 30-year-old, and then a 40-year-old, and a 45-year-old, etc. Body has changed. But we are able to identify the changed body that is me, that is me, that is me. Although it's changing, I'm saying, no, that is me. It's changed. No, that is me. It's changed. That is me. I'm able to still identify the body which is changed as me. Is it not? What gives me the perception to identify something completely, drastically different as me? As long as I don't situate myself on a static platform, I cannot say that that is me. Is it not? Let's give this example. I was giving this example in the Sunday Feast classes today. You are in a train. You are in a train, and the train has stopped on a platform. There's another train next to you. Yeah? And then, all of a sudden, that train starts moving. When that train starts moving, you don't know whether it's your train or that train moving. Is it not? For a moment, you'll think, oh, hang on, are we moving or is that train moving? Why do you get that confusion? Why do you get that confusion? Why are you not sure whether your train or that train is moving? Because you can't? Yes, go ahead. Why? Because you are also situated on a moving platform called the train. Because you are also inside the train, you are aware that you are inside the train, and you don't know whether your train started or the other train started. But if you are on a platform, can you clearly say it is the platform moving or the train moving? You can clearly say, no, the train's moving, I'm not moving. Is it not? So therefore, the jiva knows that I am not on a moving train because I am sthita. I am established myself as an unchangeable entity. So therefore I can see things are changing around me, but I myself haven't changed. This itself gives us a perception that I am spirit. I am spirit. I have not changed. It's something else that is changing, and I'm associating with that change as me, but I know that that is not me inherently. So that is why observing the world is very important. In fact, that is why we are the jiva in the atma, as the atman, is constantly observing the change. Now imagine somebody went into coma when he was a 15-year-old. Okay? He went into coma. In fact, there was a real story. Have you heard of the story of Sarah? Sarah in the United States. There was this girl who had met with an accident. It was near fatal accident. So she was crossing the road and somebody hit her. Some hooligan hit her, and her skull was completely crushed. And she went into a near comatic stage. So she was in coma, basically brain dead. And the doctor said, her body is functioning, but she is practically dead, but her body is functioning. So the parents decided to keep her. This was when she was 18 years old. So the parents continued to visit her for a few years, and then afterwards, maybe once in a year, because it fades away. It was in the early 80s, 1980. The story is of the 1980s. This is a real incident, by the way. Now, why I'm telling you the story? I'm telling you for the perspective that how the soul can observe things can change. Right now, because we are conscious, we are able to observe the change. Sarah, in this case, has become unconscious. In one sense, she is not able to see the external world around her. She is in a comatic stage and she is in coma. 10 years has passed. Another 10 years has passed. Now it's early 1990s. The mother gets a call from the nursing home. And she picks up the phone, and in the phone, she hears a voice, a very shaken voice. Mom, it's Sarah. For a second, 20 years, imagine. For a second, the mother thinks it's the nurse speaking about Sarah. She says, Mom, it's Sarah. Again, she hears this. For a brief few minutes, the mother is stunned. She cannot bring herself back to the thing to convince herself it is her daughter's voice. And the voice has changed. Now she's a 38-year-old. She's not spoken to her mom for 20 years. The mom couldn't recognize the voice, nor did Sarah recognize her voice. She said, Sarah, my child? She says, my child? Is that you? And then the nurse says, yes, she's woken up at last. And she's still trying to tune her vocal cords because her vocal cords has not spoken for 20 years. And you know what she asked her mother the first thing? What do you think she would have asked her? Guess she asked her mother to bring makeup. Why? Because when she went into coma, what did she remember? A beautiful 18-year-old girl. And what is she now? 38 years has passed. She can't digest the fact that that lady is she, because in her mind she has impressions of a beautiful 18-year-old. And 20 years later she's saying, who is this? It's me. It's me. It's Sarah. My body has changed. Mom, can you please get makeup? She's asking. This is the first thing she asks. Can you believe after 20 years? So therefore, she was not given the opportunity to observe the constant change for 20 years. So therefore, inherently we know we can see, but we cannot still see. Pashyan api na pashyati. Kashyapa is saying, try to see, Aditi. Try to see. So therefore, we have to understand something is different. And what is that Kashyapa Muni wants Aditi to see? Kashyapa Muni wants Aditi to see the real reality. What is that real reality? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam delineates in the second verse of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam. The reality, the only reality is that which doesn't change. What doesn't change in this material world? Actually, even the soul changes because the soul also is imperceptible to the reality of its not being changeable. Because the soul cannot perceive it being static, is it not? Because it's associating with the body, the soul thinks I am changing, is it not? Do I not think I'm a 10-year-old, I'm a 48-year-old now? Am I not thinking that? But I am not. I am the oldest. Is it not? I'm as old as Krishna. How old am I? I'm not 48. I'm not 48 billion years old. I'm eternal as Krishna. Is it not? Soul exists the day. Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa. Krishna says. You exist because I exist because Krishna exists. So therefore, I am as old as Krishna. Therefore, so the only person, the only reality is that unchanging personality which is Vasudevam or Vasudevam. That is why Prabhupada in this verse brings 3 verses from the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says, Vasudevam sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. One who tries to see Vasudeva as the all in all is that Mahatma. One has to come to that platform to see Vasudeva everywhere. It is a very heightened state of consciousness because Kashyapa Muni is at that level of consciousness. He is not seeing Bali, he is not seeing Aditi's children, he is not seeing Aditi's children. He is just seeing Vasudeva's illusory energy acting. He is seeing the ultimate actor is Krishna. Krishna is orchestrating all of this. Why is he orchestrating all of this? There are 2 reasons why is this being enacted. The main reason is this. What is the main reason? This one. What is this? The appearance of Vamanadeva. The Lord has a desire to appear as Indra's brother, Vamanadeva. So therefore he is enacting this. So after finishing of the pastime, he is letting Bali win. So therefore, Kashyapa Muni, some people sometimes win and sometimes some people lose. This winning and losing in this material world is just a game of the illusory energy. Ultimate reality one sees Vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. I'll tell you another story. There was a saint in Vrindavan. He was a very exalted saint. And once what happened, he was walking along the fields of Vrindavan and he saw a snail walking on the street. So he thought, I better safeguard this snail to a safe place. So he picked up the snail and put it in a safe place under the grass. When he was doing that, the farmer misunderstood the saint to be a thief. So he suddenly hit the saint with a large stick on his head. And then suddenly the saint started bleeding. Okay? And then the farmer realized that it is a saint. So then he begged forgiveness for the sadhu and says, I'm sorry, my dear sadhu, I didn't realize it was you. But the sadhu looked at the farmer and he says, hey Krishna, what is your swarupa? And he is glorifying the farmer who has hit him. And then the farmer thought, because I have hit him too hard, I've really hit him very hard. So he's now seeing the Lord in me, or they're seeing me as the Lord. So iska to chala gaya dimag. So then he carries him in his cart and he takes him to the doctor. And then the doctor starts treating him. And then the doctor says, can you see what is this? What is this? Can you name? And then the sadhu says, hey Bhagavan, your Leela is aparampar. Sometimes you hit me, sometimes you treat me. And the doctor says, iska to really chala gaya hai. Matlab, honestly, this sadhu's brain is gone. But actually, his disciple comes running. And his disciple, when he says, sadhu, chale, Mahatma chale, because he's been now bandaged, he's put his bandage and everything. And then the sadhu calls the disciple also Krishna. Then they understand this sadhu's consciousness is, he's not seeing anything apart from Krishna. At any point in time, for him, only Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. He's not seeing any farmer, doctor, disciple, nahi. For him, it's always Krishna. Because what do you mean by Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha? He is not seeing the disciple as Krishna. You have to understand that. He is seeing that disciple, the doctor, and the farmer, the root cause of all of their existence is Krishna. That Krishna is there inside all of them and enacting through them. So therefore, what the farmer did is what Krishna wanted the farmer to do. What the doctor did is what Krishna wanted the doctor to do. What the disciple did is what Krishna wanted the disciple to do. So therefore, he's seeing Krishna as the sutra. Mattaha parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutra manigne. Sutra means the thread, the invisible thread is Krishna. So that he is able to pursue, and this is the vision of the sadhu. That's why Prabhupada brings this verse, Vasudevam sarvamiti. Everywhere he sees Krishna, not everyone as Krishna. Important, because Prabhupada also says this. Kashyapa did not say, Vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlavaha. He did not say like that. He did not say, hey, my dear wife, are you not seeing Vasudeva right standing in front of you? He did not say like that. This is the difference between a saint and a swindler. A swindler will say, you are also Krishna, I am also Krishna. But a sadhu will say, you and me are both have to be Mahatmas to perceive that Vasudeva. See, there are two things being mentioned, Mahatma and Vasudeva. Are there not two? Who's pursuing whom? Perceiving whom? Or pursuing whom? Mahatma is pursuing Krishna. So therefore, Vasudevam is Krishna and Mahatma is the sadhu who is perceiving Krishna. They are two different people and personalities. It is not that they both are the same. It is not that the sadhu was thinking the farmer to be Krishna. The sadhu is perceiving Krishna in the farmer. That is very important to understand. Now, when you perceive Krishna in the farmer, then you don't call him, no, I'm only seeing the Krishna within you, not you. We are also not impersonal. That's why we call each other Prabhu or Mataji. You know, when we do that, we are seeing the potency of Krishna. And that is why Prabhupada culminates this. In fact, Prabhupada also quotes Lord Shiva here. You know where Prabhupada is quoting Lord Shiva? He quotes, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabdhitam. Prabhupada quotes this because there is a samvad in the 4th canto between Lord Shiva and Sati Devi. And Shiva says, my consciousness is Vasudeva Shabditham. He says, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditham. See, there are 3 modes of material modes in this material world. Even the mode of goodness is tinged with passion and ignorance. There is nothing called pure goodness in this material world. Shuddha Sattva doesn't exist. Shuddha Sattva, Krishna keeps it with him. And the spiritual world and Krishna and the spiritual entities living in the spiritual world, they're all made of Shuddha Sattva. Transcendental goodness. That's why it is called as pure goodness or unalloyed goodness. That is the stage one has to come to be able to perceive Krishna at all times, places and circumstances. This is the consciousness. That is why it is very important to distinguish. And how do we come to that position? We can come to that position when we take Vasudevam Jagat Gurum. When we take Krishna's instructions. Right now we are taking Krishna's instructions to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, compiled by Vyasadeva, spoken by Shukadeva Goswami. When we read Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita, then gradually by the practice of bhakti, bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschashmi tattvataha. Then we can come to that position of seeing Krishna at all time, places and circumstances. We are actually, by the divine mercy of Srila Prabhupada, given this wonderful opportunity to meditate for this whole month of distributing books of Srila Prabhupada. This whole month, this activity of distributing books also is a meditation actually. One may think it is an activity. One may think I am distributing books. But it is a wonderful opportunity to meditate that I am not distributing books. Naham karta, harihi karta. It is Krishna using me to distribute books to another living entity who is also connected to Krishna. Me and him are just a medium. So it is an opportunity for us to become Kashyapa. It is an opportunity for us to become Pashyaka, to be able to see Vasudevam Sarvamiti, to distribute Krishna. Bhagavatam is none other than Krishna himself. To be able to hand over Krishna to everyone, thinking I am just a medium. So it becomes a worship. So book distribution also is a great opportunity to be able to meditate on this Vasudevam consciousness. For that, one has to become Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the father of Krishna. There is a difference between Vasu and Vasu. Vasudeva means pure heart. When the heart becomes cleansed, Vasudeva comes and resides there. So therefore, when through the process of book distribution, we can become Vasudeva, and then Krishna comes and resides in our heart. So it's a process of establishing Krishna in our Sarva Bhuta Guhashayam. See, Krishna is already in our hearts. The process of bhakti makes us realize that He is there in our hearts, to be able to connect with Him at all time, places and circumstances. This is the process of bhakti. And therefore, this particular verse is enabling Aditi to go deeper. He's saying, start looking Krishna inside you and start looking Krishna outside you, to say Krishna is interacting everything, enacting everything in this world, Aditi. Actually, He's preparing you so that He wants to appear inside your heart as Vamana Deva. So this is an enactment to prepare you for another ultimate cause where the Lord wants to appear. And then also at the same time deliver Bali, because Bali also is an Asura, but he's a devotee. So the Lord's dealings are wonderful. Even though he's an Asura, even Bali gets delivered and Indra also gets protected. So it's an amazing pastime that is going to unravel in this canto. With this, I'll just stop here. If there are any comments or corrections or realizations, if somebody wants to share. The microphone is dead probably, Prabhuji. If somebody has any questions, otherwise we can stop here. Yes, we'll wait for the mic.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, we know that all living entities are part and parcel of Lord Krishna, and we develop an attachment for our family members, our siblings, like that. But we see in these verses coming, Kashyapa Muni is criticizing family life and the affection for children. And we also see in the teachings of Kapila Muni to Devahuti. So how do we understand?
Kashyapa Muni did not criticize Aditi because of her family. In the 18th verse, the criticism was on the Sneha Baddham. The criticism was on the attachment to the family, not on the family itself. Because he himself was a family householder. Kashyapa was a householder. So he cannot be a householder and still criticize family. He cannot be duplicitous. What he criticized was the attachment to the family. So the idea is family or a grihastha householder life is a wonderful opportunity to worship Krishna. Having children, having brothers, sisters is a wonderful opportunity. What is not good is to develop an attachment that they are mine. They are not mine, but we both are Krishna's. That is the transformation in consciousness, is what Kashyapa is alluding towards to Aditi. To say, don't think that here are my children bereft of the opulence and here are Diti's children. She's seeing difference now. Now, therefore Kashyapa Muni is saying, well, you are only seeing this difference because you are attached to something called as your children. They are not your children. You and they both are Krishna's children, and even so are Diti and Diti's children. So come to a higher hierarchy of a family tree, get out of this attachment and divert your attachment to Vasudevam Jagadgurum. So he is criticizing the Sneha Baddham, the illusory attachment that Aditi is developing towards her children, not necessarily the family itself. So that is why as Grihasthas, we have to continue to serve the family, but in Krishna consciousness. That is the point. Because we cannot be Phalgu Vairagya. That becomes Phalgu Vairagya. Oh, I reject the family. Hang on. It is not yours in the first place to reject in the first place. Is that your family? No. Thinking that it is yours is actually the thought of me and mine is to be rejected, not the family needs to be rejected. Because Krishna consciousness means taking the whole world as our family. ISKCON is a house where the whole world can come and take shelter. The whole world is our family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We all are Krishna's family. And that is expansion of the definition of family, is what Kashyapa is hinting towards. Does it make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any more questions? Yes, Prabhuji.
Just a comment, I was
Yes,
meditating on this same subject, that like often in the material world you see people's relationships are based on attachment or attraction. You know, they see this woman is beautiful and they're attached, and they find another more beautiful, they'll run away to the other woman. But if the attachment is to Krishna, then you act a responsible way, and you know, like if you're attached to Krishna, develop some love of Krishna, you'll try to please him, and so you're trying to please Krishna. And it says in Bhagavad Gita, how to please Krishna is to be kind and friendly to every living entity. So if the whole family love Krishna, then they'll be pleasing Krishna by being kind and friendly to each other and taking the responsibilities of looking after the children nicely, and on the basis of their attachment to Krishna. So that can make a nice family if they're all, you know, following Krishna's desire, that they're kind and friendly and take care of each other and so on, because this is what Krishna wants, you know. Not that just attached, like this one child is very naughty, so I don't like him, and the other child's very good child, and so we like him. But we like Krishna, and Krishna wants us to be kind to all the children.
Correct.
Like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhupada. That's a wonderful comment. Yeah.
Just one other little point there. Though you're a great sadhu, I'm not qualified to criticize, but the thing about viruses and bacteria. A bacteria is like a small living entity. If you put poison on it, it dies, and that's why we take antibiotics. They kill the bacteria, they're like a poison. But a virus is actually a small piece of RNA coding. It's not actually a living entity. It's almost like a small book, you know. When it encounters one of the cells in the body, it gives bad advice, and the cell gets sick and does crazy things. So a virus is not actually a living entity. It's almost like a small book, you know, like you read one of these Kami books about enjoying sense gratification and being happy, and then you get sick and go to hell. And so in the same way, when this virus has this bad information in its coding, it makes the cell do crazy things. So it's not actually
what
living.
carries that information?
Yes, it's in encoding on the cell.
But how can it exist on itself?
Yeah, the cells produce these viruses, but they're
what produces the cells?
Yeah, Krishna produces everything, doesn't he? Everything comes from Krishna.
Krishna is the ultimate. But see, the Acharya says there is no place where there is no jiva. So maybe from a scientific perspective, it's not a living entity, but there is, yes, Prabhuji. Prabhu is in the medicine, actually. We've got a researcher.
Anyway, like the book is, the analogy of the book, that is coming from a living entity, but the book is not living. You know, like Bhagavad is not living, but it's...
I agree, yeah.
It's
an encoded information.
Yes.
Yes. By the way, this is, Prabhu, introduce yourself, and Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Swarup Damodar Maharaj, who is Prabhupada's disciple, so he's a scientist himself. Yes, Prabhu.
So my Guru Maharaj talks about this. You're right. Actually, the virus is not a living entity. The example he gives is like a Xerox machine. So when the virus comes in contact with the cell goes crazy, and the cell starts doing things, but the cell is alive, but the virus is not alive. Right? But the virus contains like something that hypnotizes the cells, right? Yeah. So obviously,
the jiva might be in the cell, but not necessarily the virus. Yeah. So the virus might be the wrong association that the cell got.
Exactly.
Okay, the book, the Karmi book that the jiva read.
So either a book or like a drug. So the cell takes the drug, and the cell goes crazy and starts doing things and multiplying the virus. But as soon as you separate them, the virus has got no life.
Amazing.
So it cannot replicate itself. Amazing. It cannot have offspring. It cannot grow. So all of these are characteristics of life.
Of a virus. Okay.
Of a life, right?
Of
so life means you can replicate itself, you can grow, you can, and then you die. But the virus can't do any of these things. The cell does it for the virus.
It kind of depends on the cell to do all of this.
Yeah.
So it's the Asuri consciousness. Virus is the Asuri consciousness which influences the cell.
Exactly.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Science class today. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the class. It's really nice. All the stories, examples you quoted. It's really nice class. I've had so many realizations. You explained so nicely, Prabhu. You're so knowledgeable. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
No questions. This is comment.
This is all Srila Prabhupada's glories and nothing else. Thank you so much. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Book Marathon ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsam Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathantam Tvam Sajivam Shadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna